Saturday, you have your walkthrough. And Saturday night, give a shitty speech and let's go.
A shitty speech.
Welcome to the No Risk It, No Biscuit podcast with BA and Melanie.
Let's go. First 5 minutes now. Let's go. Set the tempo.
As far as goals go, we have one. Putting the ring on our finger.
This is the ultimate team game. Now, that's the beauty of football.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the No Risk It, No Biscuit podcast with BA and Melanie, where we will just shoot the shit about the NFL and anything else that comes to mind for us. So, Pops, how's it going? How was your weekend?
It was a great weekend. Yeah, we got down to Tampa and played a little golf, watched the game, and got back to the lake. So, heck of a weekend. You've had a couple of good weekends.
I have, yeah. We started out in LA. Dolphins Chargers was week one, which was what I think was the game of the week. I might be biased, but it was a great one. And then we were in Buffalo this last weekend, and it was my first time ever doing a game there where I didn't need to be in a parka with hand warmers all over my body. So that was a win. It was like
all right. I'm gonna put you on the spot early now. Who you like better, Bills or Dolphins?
Oh gosh, you mean to go on to like for the season?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough.
Early September pick.
I know. The Dolphins to me seem a little bit more. I trust them a little bit more right now. I wasn't sure about the Bills after that week one loss, and I just feel like, I don't know. They bounced back. They had a good complete team win, but the Dolphins look unstoppable to me right now. They're like a track team. I just feel like they're well balanced on both sides of the ball. And as long as, I know we say this every week, but as long as Tua can stay healthy, I like the Dolphins. I don't know.
I'm with you all the way. I thought, for Tua, man, to be 5-0 against Bill Belichick, there's not many guys that can say that. I mean, that's really, really big, especially winning up in Foxborough.
Yeah, that's a pretty incredible stat. By the way, have you ever had buffalo wings in Buffalo?
Oh yeah, straight to the Anchor Bar. We flew in for Y2K, and they brought us in a couple of days early because everybody thought the airlines were going to crash and everything. And we're playing in Buffalo for New Year's Eve, and so it's like it was really weird. We spent it at the Anchor Bar, and ate way too many wings.
You think that's the best spot to go to? I feel like we need to poll the people of Buffalo. Like, shoot me in the DMs. Next time I'm there, I wasn't able to get any wings this time, but next time I'm there, I need the best spot to go to. Is Anchor Bar?
Yeah, I mean, I'm old school. I go back to the original. So yeah, Anchor Bar to me, just the atmosphere, and the wings are great too.
What's your go-to wing order?
For me, I'm not a hot guy, just like hot and or mostly a Cajun dry rub. I just don't like to get messy.
Yeah, I don't either. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I like boneless. I don't like all the gristle and the fat. I don't want to I just like a nice, clean, like boneless buffalo wing. I like ranch and blue cheese. Got to have some variety in the dipping sauce. But anyway, enough about buffalo wings. That's the hard-hitting stuff for the week. Let's talk week 2 in the NFL. There were some statement wins, some shocking teams sitting at 0-2 right now. But let's start with the team that you think made the biggest statement in week 2.
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned it, but I think Tua winning up in New England. And, for Mike McDaniels to go 2-0 on the road, that's a heck of a start for the Dolphins. And they look really, really formidable in all 3 phases. I mean, they look really, really good to me. And that's hard to get to 2-0 when they put you on the road those first 2 weeks. That's big time.
And what do you think needs to happen for them to continue to play like that?
Stay healthy. And both sides of the ball. They can't start losing your corners or especially Tua. I mean, I love what Tua did in the offseason to try to eliminate some of the problems he's had with concussions. And he's such a great kid and such a hard worker.
And to think that they still need to get Jalen Ramsey back, imagine.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're just if they get a couple of guys back, I mean, how good can they be?
Yeah, they're such I have them this weekend, actually. I'm excited. I have Broncos at Dolphins in Miami. So probably a winnable game for the Dolphins, but I'm excited for that one. I think the team for me that made the biggest statement, I'm going to say Dallas Cowboys. And I know like the Giants and Jets aren't exactly the biggest test in the NFL right now, but you beat the brakes off the Giants 40-0 in week 1. Then week 2 against the Jets, they Okay, CeeDee Lamb, 11 catches, 143 yards. Pollard goes over 100 total yards. Dak was outstanding, 31 for 38, 255, 2 TDs, no turnovers. And then you've got Micah Parsons. This guy is outrageous. He's unstoppable. 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss. They just look dominant to me on both sides of the ball, and they've got a couple winnable games coming up. I think they've got, let's see here, Cardinals week 3, another winnable game, Patriots week 4, but I think the real test will be week 5, a rematch in the divisional round against the 49ers in primetime. So that's tough for me to say as a lifelong Philadelphia Eagles fan, that I think the Cowboys look really good right now, but they do. That's
I got to agree with you on that one. They do very, very good. For the Cowboys every year, though, it's just that those pivotal games, can you get the home field playoff, home field advantage the whole time? But they haven't gone on the road in the playoffs and not doing as well. But that defense looks outstanding. Dan Quinn's doing a hell of a job.
They look so, so good. Okay, so how about which team that's sitting at 0-2 is most surprising to you?
I got to say the Chargers. I mean, to score 58 points and have no turnovers and you're 0-2, I don't know how that happens. That's just crazy to lose those shootouts like that. But for me, that's such a talented – and they cannot fall that far behind the Chiefs to have any chance.
Yeah, I really just don't – this is my pick too. We probably should have talked about this ahead of time, but I don't understand how you give Josh Herbert this mega deal. You bring in Kellen Moore to open up the offense – get Justin Herbert taking some more shots downfield. You've got 2 stud receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. You have a great offensive line. Defensively, 2 stud edge rushers and Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. And then the back end, you've got Derwin and you've got JC Jackson. Like, this team is loaded. I understood the week 1 loss. I felt like the Dolphins just did a little bit more than the Chargers did, but it feels like the last 2 games, they've had a chance either on the final drive of the game or in overtime to close it out. And they haven't been able to do it. And I don't know why we're that surprised by this at this point, because I feel like the Chargers have shown us that this is who they are. But it's frustrating because, gosh, I want them to be good. And I love Brandon Staley.
I think it's just the biggest thing is you cannot go 0-3.
Right.
To me, that's the big games of the week. Everybody that's 0-2, you cannot go 0 for September. Not have a chance for the playoffs. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see the Bengals at 0-2. I'm surprised to see the Broncos at 0-2. Are you surprised by that with Sean Payton now and Russell Wilson?
Yes and no. I think it's a whole new system for Russ.
Yeah.
It's not that easy to pick up just that terminology. And Sean has some long terminology. I think if anybody can swing him around, it's going to be Sean. But I don't think the Broncos are going to be a surprise team. Everybody thought so.
Yeah. Some outstanding performances in week 2. Who gets your week 2 game ball?
Oh, the Steelers defense. Just give it to either outside linebacker, Highsmith, or TJ Watt. I mean, that was a hard game to watch, except if you like defense. And those 2 defenses were outstanding. Just Cleveland's defense couldn't score. But I got to give it to Pittsburgh's defense.
Yeah, and speaking of that game, sending our thoughts and prayers to Nick Chubb. That was awful to watch.
What a shame.
Ugh, brutal. My game ball for week 2, I'm giving it to Josh Allen. This guy was obliterated by the media after that week 1 game against the Jets. 4 turnovers. I get it. He kind of deserved it, but he came back and bounced back in week 2. We had that game against the Raiders last week. And I remember when we spoke with him in our meetings, he was so upset and so frustrated, but he had spent more time at the facility all week. He was extra dialed in the playbook. He said when he would go home at night, he had deleted all the social media apps off of his phone. So he was drowning out the noise. He was like, I'll just turn on a golf video or maybe a movie. And I just felt like he was dialed in. Went 31 of 37, 267, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. 31 of those completions, those 31 completions were distributed against 9 different receivers. So I just felt like he was decisive. He moved the ball well. He just looked really good to me. So he gets my game ball in that bounce back performance against the Raiders. Because no risk it, no biscuit is your mantra, Pops. Let's see the shirt, by the way. Hold up the cup. Let's see the shirt. I want your no risk it, no biscuit play call of the week. What was the ballsiest, gutsiest, most awesome no risk?
Yeah, I've got to go back to week 1. And 4th and 1 in their own territory in the fourth quarter, and Todd Bowles goes for it in the Bucs-Vikings game that leads to the 57-yard field goal. Just those two decisions, the 4th and 1 and the 57-yarder with a new kicker on the road, prove out to be the winner. Then this past week, there is no doubt about it. It's my man Brant Boyer and the Jets faking a punt on their 10-yard line, down 10 in the first quarter to try to score. He and Robert Saleh. I thought, man, that took some cojones to make that call now.
That was gutsy. I want to get your take on the Buccaneers a little bit right now, just while we're on topic. Baker is just so fun to watch. I love this guy. I don't know how anyone cannot like Baker Mayfield. Just what have you seen from the Buccaneers so far that you've liked most?
Yeah, I love the way they're interacting. You know, going to practice the other day, there's a great vibe. Guys love Baker. He's a fighter. They believe in Kyle Trask too, but right now that's another team that I think that's to me not surprising to be 2-0, and team got to stay healthy also. But Baker has brought some life to that offense, and like I told him, you don't need to be trying to run any linebackers over every week, though, dude. Put some bigger shoulder pads on. But you've already won your locker room over. You don't have to do that bravado shit. But he's I love to watch him play.
Speaking of quarterbacks that like to run linebackers over, I know this is a topic that you are very passionate about, and I want to talk about the mobile dual threat quarterback in the NFL. And you look at week 2, and Anthony Richardson put on a show against the Texans before leaving in the second quarter to be evaluated for a concussion. This guy's played 6 quarters in the NFL, already looks like one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league. Rushed for 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. But with that comes obviously taking a lot of hits. And I know that this debate about the value of dual threat quarterbacks is something you're very passionate about. So talk to me. Why would you not want an Anthony Richardson, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts type quarterback running your offense?
It's not that I wouldn't. You know, to me, the quarterback has to win third down in 2 minutes. That's the game. The game in the NFL is third down in 2 minutes. The other thing is, the more you put your quarterback in harm's way, a lot of harm's going to come to him. And to me, that was never an even question until it was playoff time. You know, we might run the quarterback in the red zone in a playoff game, but not make our living running our quarterback. That's what you pay these running backs for. And that's why they're not getting paid, because they're getting all broken up too. If you want to shorten their career, let them run 10 or 15 times a game. You know, it just does to me, you know, Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong, but he takes some crazy risks with his body, and it's not fair to his teammates. But the other guys, you know, Jalen got his payday. I just want to see those guys win on third down in 2 minutes. Great athletes. But the history says their career is going to be very, very short.
So what kind of quarterback are you bringing in then?
Well, I'd start with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And I would never call either one of them elite athletes, you know, but their quick twitch fiber in their brain works faster than anybody I've ever seen. And that's what plays the position. You don't play the position running all over the place. You play it making quick, fast decisions and being very accurate with the ball. So any kind of body type. The 2 muscles that make great quarterbacks are the heart and the brain. You got to have grit. You got to have grit about you and be a leader. And you got to be able to make fast decisions in 1.5 seconds. Am I hot? Where am I going? What's the coverage? I mean, it's just amazing what happens in that 2-3 seconds where that ball's gone.
You mentioned Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. What about Andrew Luck in that conversation?
Oh yeah, he's always up in the top of there. You know, I've been so fortunate. Ben Roethlisberger, one of the greatest ever. Carson Palmer. I'm going to throw Tim Couch out there too, because Tim Couch was one of my favorite guys to coach. He just got all broken up. But yeah, those guys all had it. I mean, and just to be able to stay ahead of the other team all the time, you know, the preparation that those guys put in is unbelievable. And it's fun doing it with them.
What are your thoughts on the, as an Eagles fan, I've seen this a lot, especially over the last year, the quarterback sneak push the pile play. We're seeing a lot more of it. The Eagles used it, I believe, 39 times in 2022, converted 36 of those times using it. They call it the 2-cheek sneak. Do you have to have a quarterback that deadlifts 620 pounds like Jalen Hurts in order for it to work? Or like, what are your thoughts on that quarterback push the pile play?
And until it's outlawed, I think it's a great play because it's damn near unstoppable. The offensive line gets down, everybody's trying to dive over the top. But now Jalen's very, very strong. He squats like 600, 700 pounds, so he's able to push the pile with him. But maybe one of the best quarterback sneakers ever was Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say Tom is a tremendous athlete as far as running around with the ball, but it's just a matter of leg strength, drive, and knowing when to do it. But that play itself is damn near unstoppable.
You said until it's outlawed. Do you think it's eventually going to be?
I think enough people will start crying about it being so low. They'll make a low block. They'll make some damn rule about it for sure.
Yeah, I remember the NFL was talking about now they're looking for any polling on the play. So like it's legal to push, but in the pile when they're watching this play, any polling deems it, illegal.
And now they're looking at it. That's been a rule, Mel, for I don't know 30 years. Now they're going to finally call it. Come on.
Good point. How did you like the officiating in the NFL this week, Coach? Grade it out.
No, we'll just let that one fly.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's look ahead to week 3, the matchup that you're most looking forward to.
Everybody that's 0-2. Like I said, I mean, to me, the Vikings and the Chargers is a huge game.
Someone's got
to in their divisions to go 0 for September. Then you throw the Broncos and the Patriots, who you never think of being in that. You just can't go 0 for September. And then, man, this week is huge to get it back going, to have a chance to get back to 500 and stay within striking. You fall 3 games back in your division in September. It's hard to come back from.
Yeah, you're right. I'm excited for your Buccaneers versus my Philadelphia Eagles in primetime Monday Night Football. I'm also excited for our game, Broncos at Dolphins. Let's see if Sean Payton and Russell Wilson can get it together and pull out a win. But I don't think they're going to beat the Dolphins in Miami. That's going to be a tough test for the Broncos. Favorite NFL city to work or play a game in? You've been to them all.
Yeah, I have to say Tampa Bay, Raymond James Stadium. He won the Steelers won the Super Bowl there down at the Pirate Ship Inn, and then went able to win a Super Bowl 55 there in that stadium, and just watch the city embrace the Bucs again. I think of the legends, the Ronnie Barbers and the Warren Sapps and John Lynch's and Derek Brooks and those guys, and then to be able to have another team to put their name in that aura with them, it's just amazing. And it's such a great place to live. Tampa is booming right now. So, I had to say Tampa. Indianapolis is another one of my favorites because I just love walking the city.
What's the best restaurant in Tampa for someone who's visiting there the first time? Like, where do they have to go?
Now, see, you're going to make me piss off all my friends because I got a lot of restaurants down there.
Top three.
Okay. 717. That's my man, Joe Madden's place. And Ocean Prime. And then you got to go to the Salt Shack out on the bay.
Salt Shack. What's the go-to order at the Salt Shack?
Grouper bites. Yeah, everything's fresh fish sitting right. It's a little tiki bar and restaurant out on. It's excellent.
That sounds delicious. When I think about my favorite NFL cities, like I feel like I have the favorite ones in terms of the stadium, because as a sideline reporter, I like to be warm and dry. So I of course love SoFi. I love Jerry World. I love Vegas. But then there are like the cities that you love to go to, even if the stadium isn't that great because the food's great or, whatever. So I love New York and LA. I love Miami. I love to do a game at Arrowhead Stadium. I feel like that's such an awesome stadium. Just the fan base is so wild, and you get some good barbecue in Kansas City. I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of great NFL cities to. I'd be remiss if I didn't throw Green Bay in there. To go to Lambeau Field is still just so iconic, and to win in Lambeau Field is even better. And then get a good brat and get on the bus and go home. Yeah. For our viewers, I feel like you just have such a unique perspective as an NFL head coach, and just give us sort of an inside look into what goes into a week of game prep for you. Like, what is Todd Bowles going through this week, Monday through Saturday and leading up into the game? Just kind of take us through a week of game prep?
Yeah, it's deja vu over and over and over. Sunday morning, you grade that film. Most of the guys, if it's a away game, they grade it on the plane now coming back. For offense, and for us, we did our running game on Mondays and all our blitz stuff. The young guys would have everything broken down on the board so we could go in and get it done. Defensively, and again, you show the film to your players, get all the corrections made, put that one to bed. You got the 24-hour rule, win or lose or draw, it's gone. Coaches are gone to the next one now. The press won't let you go. They won't talk about last week all the time up until Saturday, but Tuesday is a long day for most coaches. That's game plan day. You put it up on the board, have it ready, type it up, get it in the iPads off for the players to show up Wednesday morning. And normally a Wednesday is it's a 1st and 10 day. For us, we did a lot of third down also. A lot of teams don't. Basic game plan stuff, get a good practice in, get a good lift in. Thursday, you start in your situational football, more third down, the red zone. Friday is more specialist stuff, everything that could happen in a kicking game. You go through the script, goal line, short yardage, and a faster, more intense red zone period. Saturday, you have your walkthrough, and Saturday night, give a shitty speech and let's go.
A shitty speech. And how much are you involved in each position group room, or is it more like learning how to delegate to all of your different coaches?
It was very hard for me, but that word delegate will let you coach a lot longer. When you try to do it all yourself, I found out very early that that's impossible. But for me, it was mostly offense. I trusted Todd. All right, when I had James Betcher, either guy, you come tell me what you think the matchups are. What's very important for this offense to help the defense, which helps the special teams, which we got to win 2 out of 3 phases each week. And as a head coach, you try to put it in a position, okay, we might have to sacrifice a little this week and try to run it a little bit more, to keep them off the field if possible, but play a more ball control game. And that doesn't mean run it, but you could throw it in a ball control passing game too. So just keep the ball away from them, or, hey, we're going to need to score 30. Let's go right off the bat, So you get your plan, and then each day you're looking for those specific matchups. How can I get Mike Evans on this guy? How can I get Larry Fitzgerald in the slot? How can I get Gronk open? What formations can we match up on their guys who might be injured? Hey, they got that young corner. They can't protect him. If we get in this formation, we got him one-on-one. And little things like that. And you just put it all together. For me, Fridays were huge because the quarterback would come in. He'd scratch off any play he didn't want. Take it out. I don't care if I love it. Can't talk into it. Take it out of the game plan. And then Friday night we sit down and pick what he wants in the first 15 plays as passes. I'll have 15 runs. We'll make that script. And Saturday, sit down, third down. Here's how I want them called, coach. Boom, boom, boom. Red zone, boom, boom, boom. So the quarterback has total ownership. Mm-hmm. I'm not calling plays like, what do you call that for? Dude, you picked it. That's your play.
That's your fault.
Yeah, that's your play. That's accountability that I now let the quarterbacks have. And that would be pretty much it. And boom, is it January already? Because we did the same thing now for 16 weeks,
Gosh, it goes so fast. It goes so fast. It really is like Groundhog Day. And you brought up Larry Fitzgerald, and you've coached so many amazing players and big names, but he's by far one of my favorites that you've coached. I'm curious, give us your best Larry Fitzgerald story.
There's so many. I mean, gosh, Fitzy's just an unbelievable human being, but we made a last second kick up in Seattle to win the ball game, and he hit me, and I could feel my shoulder go out. I said, "Oh God!" So I go to shake Pete Carroll's hand. I can barely lift my hand, and I go in the locker room and I grab our chiropractor. Yeah, I grabbed the chiropractor. I said, "Doc, put this back in, man." He goes, "Oh, that doesn't sound good, coach. That's a lot of crunching." Oh. So we celebrate in the locker room, and I said, "Larry, if you tore my rotator cuff and I got to have surgery, I better be riding the baddest damn convertible all spring long and all summer." "Oh, coach, you'll be fine. You'll be fine." So this goes on, and I do have to have all 3 of them. He tore all 3 of them. And so I can't play golf, and I teased him. And one day Carson comes by, and I said, "Carson, do you believe this dude never bought me a convertible after he tore my arm up?" And he is the cheapest son of a bitch coach. God almighty, yeah, he ain't buying anything. So all the kids are out for Christmas. We have a walkthrough, come home Saturday, and they're all standing in the driveway. Like, what the hell's going on? I came around, and there's a Mercedes-Benz 550 with a big red bow that Larry bought me.
Wow.
And he called Chris, said, hey, pick out the color. She said, Larry, you're not buying him a car. He said, no, this isn't for the shoulder. He said, he made me $500 million and put me in the Hall of Fame. I'm buying him a damn car. Wow. And that's Larry. That's Larry. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's such a great, great human being, and love his philanthropy and everything he's doing in the country right now.
Do you still have the car?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's my car in Tampa.
Does it have a name?
Fitz.
The Mercedes name Fitz. I love it. Any memorable like rookie hazing stories?
Yeah, well, in Kansas City, Marty Schottenheimer was big on the rookie show, and there were some really good acts and some really bad ones that end up in fights. And I think that Lamar just happened to be at the one that ended up in a fight. That was the end of the rookie show.
Tell us more about this.
Oh, I think we drafted a young man from Auburn, and might have got Coach Dye in trouble. And a couple of the Auburn guys brought tomatoes when he went up to sing. They threw them at him. He jumped off the stage, and a little fight broke out. And it's like, with
tomato.
This isn't going to fly too good. But coaches broke it up. Everything was good the next day. Just one of those things. They were waiting.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know in your time on at least my broadcast crew, you did some commercial airline travel. I know you're usually on a chartered plane, but this just came to mind. I'm curious, what is your worst, most memorable airline travel story?
Oh, and go with the worst stadium when we're out of StubHub.
Yeah.
Supposed to catch that.
StubHub. What was that place?
We're at that StubHub in that little booth, and I forget what happened, but anyway, we couldn't get to the booth. We ended up having to stay the next day, and it ruined the whole week for me because I didn't get back till like Tuesday at midnight, and so it was anything that had to do with the West Coast and coming home and missing the flight. That and watching Greg and I try to run that one time we had overtime in Cleveland, I think, and we're trying to run in the rain to get to the damn gate. Greg's 73 and I was 70, so it was not pretty.
Yeah, that was our first game together in Cleveland. That was a wet one. I was soaked through like 4 layers of clothing at the airport. I got my coat and like wringing it out. Where to get on my plane. That was brutal. Oh gosh, I have so many horrible ones. I could write a book. I actually I'm probably one day going to publish a book called Airline Travel for Dummies: How Not to Be a Complete Asshole. But I get people clipping their toenails next to me on the plane, the shoes off, the people who haven't showered. You get like the guy with the onions and the tuna fish sandwich next to you. But I have one that takes the cake, I think. This was almost 2 years ago now. I was flying down to my parents' place in Florida, and I'm boarding the plane here in Nashville, and it's a Delta flight, and I'm in Comfort Plus, and I have a window seat. I think I was like 12A. And I get to my row, and there's a couple already in the middle and aisle seat, and they look like they have not slept. They look like they've done just about every drug in the book the night before. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. So, excuse me, can I just get into the window? Thank you. I like climb over them because they don't, stand up to let me in. And we take off. We're connecting in Atlanta. So this is a 40-minute flight, 45 maybe. We take off, and we're not even like leveled out yet at 10,000 feet. And the woman in the middle next to me starts doing this.
Oh no.
He starts dry heaving. And first of all, I have a vomit phobia. I hate puke. I used to avoid amusement parks. I used to avoid anything where someone might puke. Like if a kid puked in 2nd grade on the carpet, I would have to call my mom to come pick me up because I hate vomit so much. And this woman starts dry heaving, and there is We can't find a puke bag. Her boyfriend next to her is like frantically searching. I'm frantically searching. My legs are up on the wall. I'm like crawling on the side of the plane. If the emergency exit had been there, I would have pulled the thing and jumped out. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm full on freak out mode. So she starts puking in her hands. In her hands. So I am full on like having a panic attack next to this woman. She finally gets a bag, throws up in the bag. She's wiping her hands on her black Lululemon leggings. And I have to sit next to this woman for the next 30 minutes while she is just like head in a bag, covered in puke. Here's the best part. We land. She rolls up the puke bag, puts it in the seat back pocket, and gets off like nothing ever happened. And I look on this plane and I say to the flight attendant at the entryway, I'm like, I don't even know how to explain what just happened next to me on this flight, but you have a surprise in the seat back pocket in 12B. So just warning you, you're going to need a cleanup crew. It's the most disgusting. And the fact that she was so unfazed by it, I was just like, is this a normal thing for me?
Oh, people traveling today, it is a normal thing. It's crazy.
Oh, so
I'll tell you the one you saved me the one time we came back from London, and I'm going to look in customs. The line must be 400 deep. And you said, don't you have mobile pass? I'm like, what's that?
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I got my app out, bought the mobile pass, got out of line, followed you. We were out in 10 minutes. That was like greatest. Then I can't find mobile pass anymore in the airport. I mean,
I don't think they let you use it anymore.
Customs line is Atlanta especially, but they do a great job. But man, no, I love broadcasting. The traveling killed me. It was so hard.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Another funny London story. So I used to love the London game. Our crew would always get it every year. And I loved it because especially I love to shop and you can buy things in London and then you come back through the airport and you get the taxes back when you bring it back to the States. So you're kind of saving money when you buy like luxury goods in London. Well, 2 years ago, I bought a few things and I came back and in the airport, they were like, oh, we don't do the tax break thing anymore. You don't get any money back. And I was like, oh, well, that stinks, but okay. I land in Atlanta from the, London flight and I'm down at baggage claim and I've got these bags, like, I've got a Dior bag and I've got this. And the border agent comes up to me and he's like, oh, looks like you did some shopping in London. What'd you get? And I didn't know you had to declare. I thought there was like a certain threshold on customs, but you didn't have to declare if you were under it. And so I'm like, oh, I got a wallet, I got a bag, I got this. And he's like, oh, come with me. And I'm like, oh no, what did I do? Well, I didn't declare what I bought. So I have been red flagged at the border coming back into the States now. Every time I fly in and they pull me into this little private room and they question me and they make sure I'm not sneaking any goods into the country. So now every time I leave the country, I have to allow like 3 hours in Atlanta or whatever airport I'm flying through because I know I'm going to get called into the little room. And yeah, so that's my London story. How do you feel about those international games, Coach? They're adding more.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Germany. I missed Germany last year. Chris had to have her knee replaced, and the kids went over, and the atmosphere was just unbelievable. I've been to London 3 times, once as a broadcaster, twice as a coach. Lost them both, and it was awful. We lost our quarterback, and that was a long flight back to Arizona. But no, I'm all for it, man. The fans are so unbelievable, and I think the more games we play in different places that they're, logistically we can get to and get back, and jet lag isn't so bad for the players. But I really am fired up by the Germany series. I think it's been a great move for all the fans around the country and around the world.
Yeah, it's fun going over there because I know our broadcast crew in particular, like when we have a game at Wembley, for example, we play this little game like, what's the most obscure NFL jersey you can spot? And it's just incredible. There's jerseys from every team from the last 40 years. It's fun. It's fun to see how passionate they are. You mentioned the logistics of that trip. I'm curious, for you, like what goes into that week and how difficult is that the following week to then recover? I guess you usually get a bye week following it.
Yeah, you usually ask for the bye week after, but we've done it both ways. We went over Monday. I had a full week of practice in London. Great facilities. Had a great week of practice on the rugby fields, and I thought we're more than ready to play and got the brakes beat off of us and lost our quarterback. The other time we flew on Thursday night, tried to get acclimated Friday, have a walkthrough Saturday, and just play the game and come back. I liked more getting there and get acclimated, knowing that we're coming back and having an open date. Now, some of the teams now are declining. They're going to go East Coast and go over and then come back and play the next week. I'm anxious to see how that jet lag hits the players.
Yeah, I'm always so intrigued by the acclimating thing. Like the Raiders, for example, this last week to play the Bills, they spent the week at the Greenbrier just practicing and trying to acclimate to the climate and the time change and doing some team bonding activities. But they lost. So it's interesting to see. Like I remember Josh McDaniels told us he felt like last year all of those 1:00 East Coast games, they had come out really, just slow and sluggish. So he thought this would help. And I didn't think they came out slow and sluggish on Sunday. So I do think it helped, but it's just, it's interesting all that goes into the planning of the, acclimating to the time zones.
Yeah. When you're sitting back in the spring and you're looking at the schedule and all the logistics of travel, we've done it a bunch of times where we ask for 2 West Coast trips and stay out West, or give me 2 East Coast trips back to back. We'll go to the Greenbrier. We'll go down to IMG or something like that and stay on the East Coast just for the bodies. That it's so hard on them to fly back and then fly back, especially a guy who's bruised and swollen a little bit. The flights make it worse. So staying on the East Coast makes so much sense. And there's so many good facilities on the East Coast now and the West Coast. Just don't ask your players to come back, pack for a week and come back home.
Yeah. How valuable is that for like the team bonding as well?
I think it's fantastic, especially early in the year. If I was going to do it, I'd love to do it in September. If we were a team that didn't go away to training camp, if we were a team that went away to training camp, you do all that stuff there, like the Steelers in Latrobe. But then I would want it a little bit later in the year, because you might have some new guys that you're bonding in with and young guys moving up and they get to see the veterans, how they're handling themselves all the time. So I think it's great, but I just, it's something that we just got to continue to watch. And I think the really good ones know how to manipulate that schedule just perfect and how to work it.
Yeah. Are you golfing today?
Yes. We got Jake and I got a practice round for the member guests this week.
Oh, nice. Who's the best NFL player that you've ever golfed with in terms of like their skill level at golf?
Man, Ben Roethlisberger's really, really good. Every kicker, every punter, they're all good golfers. Yeah, and mostly all the quarterbacks. I think maybe all the quarterbacks. But yeah, I think probably Ben. Although Patrick Peterson taught himself how to play on a simulator and is a scratch golfer. It's amazing. I mean, he's an unbelievable athlete. He's got one of the prettiest swings and he taught himself how to play. And, it's like the most diehard golfer I know is Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, we would get off the plane on Saturdays on a away game. I said, "Where are you guys playing at?" "Oh, what do you mean, coach?" I said, "Where are you playing at?" "Don't be late for the meeting." "Okay, we'll be back."
You just knew. That's awesome. Jake told me that you would rather shoot in the 80s with multiple birdies than in the 70s with a bunch of pars.
No doubt. That's one of the guys in Florida I play with. That's the only thing that pays out is birdies. And so yeah, give me an 80 with 5 birdies. And I told him the other day I had 9 pars on the back. It was boring as hell.
Well, I wish you an afternoon full of birdies, Pops.
You too.
Do it for the No Risk It, No Biscuit podcast for week 2. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.